Hello everyone, this is Weeping Blade. I'm here with a little beginner guide for War of the Vision, specifically for reaching a sort of point of power where you can't power up anymore because you're limited by your espers. What do I mean by that? So you have your units, you have some gear, you have some vision cards, you have some espers, but your espers are limited because you do not have the resource required to level them up, and that's magicite. Here's the problem with magicite. It's rare, and you can get it from only a few ways. Compared to everything else as a beginner you can buy in the beginner shop, you can't buy magicite. What does magicite do? It levels up your espers and increases their stats. The higher your resonance with an esper your units have, and then when they choose to use that esper, you get those stats that the esper has added onto the unit. And that's extremely important. When you can't level these up, you can't get the stats you need for your units, and you can't clear the content you need to do in order to continue to the end game, sort of the end game grind, right? And that's the issue. Now, how do we acquire magicite? Well, there's a few ways. First off, we can go to the far plane here and go to events and key quests. As you scroll down here, there's a magicite quest. This will give us magicite if we have keys. These keys are very rare. I'm not even sure how to acquire them, besides maybe occasionally like they show up in the shop or as a login reward. But besides that, it's not a very reliable way to get the magicite you need to level up your espers. Okay, what's the next option? So there's the guild. Occasionally there'll be battles where you can get large magicite. Not extra large, which you mostly want extra large because it gives you so much more XP compared to the other types, right? But you can get random large magicite here. You can't select what it is. It's usually random, right? And it's like 100 large. It's not much XP, and so it's not very reliable. The best way to acquire it is going to be through an event shop. So there's nothing now, but the event shops will sell like a Esper enhancement pack, or there'll be like a special event. Just basically every time a new shop comes out, check these and make sure that there's no magicite. If there is, buy it, because as a beginner, your biggest issue is going to be that it's sort of like that limitation of not being able to level up your espers, right? There's nothing here right now for that. The other way that you can acquire magicite is through the step up banners for vision cards. So not this is not a step up, not a good idea to summon on these, but this step up here, if you're going for the vision card, you will get magicite. I don't recommend pulling for vision cards just to get magicite because it's like a huge waste of Visior if you don't go all the way, and you need to spend 10,000 Visior in order to get the vision card for the 5 step-ups, right? So it's a big investment if you want to get it, but that's the most reliable way besides the shop. And that's an issue, because it isn't that much magicite, right? And you need a lot to level up your units. So before you spend any of your magicite, I highly recommend you do this, right? Every month, there's a benefits exchange. You earn tokens throughout the month, right? At the end of the month, the next month, you can start exchanging. For the first month you're playing, I recommend at the start of the next month, once you have all your tokens and stuff, spending all of your tokens here on the Esper EXP acquisition up. This is super important because you'll get double XP from the magicite. So with that being said, I recommend you don't spend your magicite until that second month as well, because it's so limited and you can use it to level up your espers. With that being said, that's my recommendation for dealing with definitely the biggest bottleneck as a beginner player. Outside of that, after you have your espers leveled up in their resonance, right? Really, I would say the biggest issue is like getting certain gears or getting certain espers and vision cards and units. Just basically the regular game, the basic stuff like acquiring. That's definitely the biggest issue. And as like a player overall, I feel like especially if you're free to play. Acquiring all the espers that you want, stuff like Dark Bahamut, super hard to acquire, but super worth it because of their power and just how useful one esper is for your whole account. Like, generically good espers that can be used through multiple elements are so helpful, and then having them leveled up with all the stats that you need, super helpful. Make sure that resonance is up, right? Make sure you're getting the stats and the SP from the espers. Another struggle you may have is JP and Affinity. Less so nowadays because with the Affinity, the resonance of an esper, right? Because they've made it so only 3 keys need to be used to max out your resonance. Before it was 10 or 1,000 battles of any kind, and now it's 300 or 3 keys. I believe it's 300. It might be more. But yeah, they've lowered the limits here. So the biggest issue now for like sort of powering up your characters and things like that is going to be the Magicite. And that's why. Because everything else is acquirable, like JP keys, Affinity, Resonance. That's way more easy to acquire than Magicite is. Magicite's more limited. You can acquire a lot of things that are kind of rare through like missions and things like that, but you can't really acquire Magicite besides doing like guild things, I believe. And that's what makes it so difficult, and you occasionally get it as a login reward as well. So especially if you're free to play, I'm sure there's like some paid options here, maybe in the special shop as well. I don't know if it's worth it, but like that, no. Personally, I wouldn't. Let's see, anything here? Oblite. Nope. See, there's no Magicite. Magicite is that kind of rare. Let's see. Any Magicite even paid? This looks like it. Yep, here it is. $24. So this is like a paid one for Magicite and Esper's sort of related stuff. But I'm not too much of a payer, so I wouldn't know what's a good deal, but definitely like a lot of these first times are like the best one by far is this one, right? Because you get 2,450 paid Viz. That's such a good deal. Because otherwise, Viz is way more expensive than that. And oftentimes, there's going to be a select, or not often, but very occasionally, there'll be a select vision card banner. And you can use that to choose from like the rares that have been released, like Dark Bahamut and things like that. So very, very important, very useful. And besides that, that's all I can really think of. Just Magicite is such a huge issue. Really, really. Like you think you're doing fine. Like I got Wing Stern 140 one day, got all the equipment, Magicite. That was the issue. I even got Dark Bahamut, but Magicite. Even day one, I started going for the Trust Stones, which is like end game stuff, right? Right? Day one, I got a Trust Stone. The biggest, and that's like end game. But the thing holding you back is Magicite. Just to emphasize how much Magicite becomes an issue, just look at that, right? Anywho, I'm Weeping Blade. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. Bye.